If you think that being overly attentive and showering a woman with constant affection is the way to win her heart, you've been misled. In fact, doing the opposite may have a more powerful impact. What if I told you that by simply pulling back and giving her space, you could get into her head, make her question her feelings, and even shift the power dynamic in your favor? It might sound harsh, but this is the reality of attraction psychology. Mastering the art of ignoring a woman isn't about being disrespectful. It's about changing your approach. Men have been conditioned to believe that the more they give, the more they'll receive. But what if that mindset is actually pushing her away? By creating some distance, you tap into core emotional triggers, like her need for validation, attention, and the allure of the unattainable. Human nature drives us to crave what's out of reach, and by stepping back, you can make her pursue you. Before anyone jumps to conclusions, let's clarify. This isn't about manipulation in a toxic way. It's about understanding deeper psychological principles. Women are emotional beings driven by complex desires, and sometimes, the more you pull back, the more intrigued they become. When you stop coming off as needy, you'll find that she starts to crave your attention instead. This strategy may be controversial, but it's rooted in evolutionary psychology. Men who were more self-sufficient were often seen as more attractive and stronger potential mates. In today's world, the same principle holds true. Confidence, self-control, and scarcity are all attractive qualities. If you're always there, always available, you become predictable, and nothing kills attraction faster than predictability. So let's dive into the art of pulling away and using psychology to keep her attention without over-investing. When you're constantly available, you take the chase out of the equation. She knows she doesn't have to work for your attention, and if there's no effort needed, she won't value it. Now, imagine a different approach. Giving her space. You're not the first to text. You don't cancel plans just to be with her, and you have a life outside of her. Suddenly, she starts to wonder why you're not chasing her like other guys do. That curiosity starts to build. When something is too easily available, it loses value, and that applies to relationships as well. If you're always initiating contact, texting her constantly, and keeping the conversation alive, she may engage at first, but soon it becomes a chore. You're no longer the intriguing guy, but the one who's too predictable. However, if you're a little more distant, responding when you're genuinely free, keeping the conversation light, suddenly you're unpredictable. And unpredictability is exciting. Over-investing often comes across as needy. Imagine constantly buying her gifts, showering her with compliments, or dropping everything to be there for her. It might seem caring, but what you're really doing is lowering your own value. You're making it easy for her, signaling that she doesn't need to invest in you because you're doing all the work. The men who get this right know that pulling back, creating space, and being selective with their time keeps a woman engaged. Attraction is about value, and if you're always there, you're reducing that value. Ignoring her taps into curiosity. When you don't give her the constant validation she expects, you create a space where she starts wondering why you're not reacting like everyone else. This makes you stand out. For example, imagine meeting a woman at a party. While most guys would immediately follow up with multiple texts or try to lock down a second date, you take a different approach. You don't bombard her with messages. Instead, you keep your distance. You may text her occasionally, but you're not constantly chasing. She starts wondering why you're not pursuing her like other men do. This mental gap pulls her in. When you hold back and don't immediately chase, she has time to think about you and start questioning where she stands. Humans are wired to crave uncertainty. If she knows you're always available, she'll lose that sense of excitement. But if there's a hint of mystery, if she's not sure when you'll text next or how invested you are, it keeps her on her toes. When she sends you a message and you don't reply instantly, you're not playing games. You're simply not making her your #1 priority. The anticipation builds, and that's what creates attraction. By holding back a little, you maintain an air of mystery. Women are drawn to men who have their own lives and aren't hanging on every text or seeking constant approval. You don't need to be rude or disrespectful, but by keeping things just out of reach, you pique her curiosity and keep her interested. Now, let's talk about mystery. The more predictable you are, the less attractive you become. When she knows exactly how you'll respond or what you'll do next, the intrigue fades. That's why maintaining a little mystery is so powerful. When you're too transparent, when you share every thought and emotion, and make your feelings crystal clear, the chase loses its thrill. Women are drawn to the excitement that comes from not knowing exactly how you feel or where things are going. The more you let her guess, the more invested she becomes in figuring you out. Think about it. Have you ever lost interest when someone was overly available or eager to please? It's human nature to want what's not fully accessible. When she has to put in effort to figure you out, she becomes more emotionally invested. You don't need to share every detail of your life or always explain yourself. By being unpredictable, you keep her engaged. Women crave emotional stimulation, and mystery gives them exactly that. When you're unpredictable and she's never quite sure where she stands, it keeps her intrigued and interested. Pulling away doesn't mean being rude or disrespectful. Some men mistakenly think that pulling away means completely ghosting or treating a woman like she doesn't matter. But that's not strategy. It's immaturity. The art of pulling away is about giving her space to realize your value without crossing the line into disrespect. Treating her like she's disposable won't make her want you more. It'll make her think you're not worth her time. When you pull away, it's about showing you're not desperate, but that you also respect her. You're not playing games, but giving her space to miss you, to realize you're a man who values himself and doesn't need to be constantly available. When done right, pulling away builds her interest naturally. Lastly, stop being the one always chasing. If you're always pursuing a woman, you're giving up control of the situation. Instead, you need to let her chase you. Many men don't realize that constant pursuit can be detrimental. If you're always reaching out, planning dates, and trying to impress her, you're putting yourself in the position of the pursuer, and she holds the power. Women are drawn to men who don't make themselves too available. When you make her chase, you're signaling that you have other priorities, that you value yourself. Your life should be full enough that you're not waiting for her responses or rearranging your schedule just to fit hers. When you strike the balance between being available and maintaining your own life, you'll see how much more invested she becomes. In conclusion, the myth that you need to chase women to win them over is simply false. The truth is, the less you invest, the more they'll crave your attention. It's time to flip the script and let her chase you. It's not manipulation, it's basic psychology. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments, and let's talk more about how to break down these myths and build real connections. Thanks for watching.